So the county executive is responsible for annually reporting to the county board on the affairs of the county. I've got one. Including its future financial needs, and prepares the annual county budget for board approval. So this is the report to the board for this year. I've only been in office for 6 months, but that's when it's required that I do it either in April or May. The financial report has been given in past and will continue to be given in April by the Deputy Director of Finance in my office. And it also includes the 5-year financial forecast, which is required. This will be the meeting for the other affairs of the county that I'm going to cover tonight. And then in June, we'll be doing the first draft of the Champaign County Strategic Plan, which will also be more detail on some of these issues. I'm giving you baseline information tonight. We're going to be covering later workforce recruitment and retention, facilities and technology, and revenues in our next meeting of the county strategic plan. Okay, this next page is the county baseline county workforce data. So if you take a look here, you can see the number of employees that are approved by the county board through the salary structure in each of the positions for every elected official. And you will be able to see the total changes that have occurred since the election in November. And you will be able to see the number of people departing from the county. There were 9 who went to other county departments from the 32 that have departed. So they were inter-office transfers, basically. And then the other folks are no longer with the county. The percent of changes as of staff is in the last column. And then the next chart will show you the total count of employees. At the time I did this in 2018, the end of 2018 was 572 employees. That does not include the county nursing home. We left those out of the count. So 572 employees. The lowest age of any employee in the county was 17. The highest age was 82. That range might surprise you. The average age was 48, median age 44, and mode age 44. So what I'd like to say about this is that historically, there has been a higher turnover rate in even years. I don't think that would surprise anyone. Those are the election years. And so different folks turn over in terms of the deputies in the different departments, or maybe some folks just leave for other reasons. There's also beginning to be a highest concentration of departures with 5 to 15 years of tenure. That is reducing. Folks used to stay in the county for basically a lifetime sometimes. We have many, many employees that have been here for 20, 30 years. That's changing. We have a younger workforce now that's turning over faster. So between 5 and 15 years, people are looking for promotions or other opportunities after they have entry-level jobs or medium-level jobs. They're looking for other promotions. The upward trend over the past 10 years is the departure of tenured employees as well. So as I mentioned, we used to have a lot of employees that stayed here for 20 years, 30 years. A lot of those folks are retiring. We've had a lot of retirements this year and for the past couple of years. A snapshot of the county workforce data as of April 2019. I know that this board has been interested in the demographic makeup in terms of race, so I tried to give you that. This is the way that we collect the data in our current database, so it's not exactly the way the census collects the data, but you can see where we're at. And what I'd like to say is basically you can see that really where we're the most under is our Asian population. So the other ones are pretty close, but Asian we're low on that. This is the next one is the actual ages of employees. So 158 employees are under the age of 35. 207 are between the ages of 35 and 49. And 210 are over the age of 50. So that's of interest to the county because many of those people would be nearing retirement, or we need to be thinking about health insurance benefits, those kinds of things for all these different age groups. The county male-female makeup is 61% male and 39% female, so slightly less for females, which might surprise you because probably most of the folks you guys see in this building are more clerical folks, which would be overrepresented in females, as it just happens to be. We have a lot of maintenance workers and highway workers and other things that are predominantly male. So this is for the whole county, how that evens out. As you know, you guys get a monthly transaction report of our hires and vacant positions from my department as well. So that's your monthly report from me. The next slide is going to talk about county facilities inventory. For those of you that are on the facilities committee, you may have seen this already. These are the actual square footages and buildings that the county owns. There's some properties on there you may not recognize. Some of them are storage facilities or have been leased to other entities. And then the facilities folks, manage 44 acres of land in terms of landscaping, maintenance, highways, parking lots, sidewalks. We're building a sidewalk, so you may have seen that when you come in. We are in year 1 of the 10-year deferred maintenance plan, which was approved by the county board in previous year, and we are trying to catch up with our needed facility projects. This plan, as has been mentioned before, does not include the downtown jail. The next page talks about the county information systems inventory. These are the multiple systems that the county owns in terms of IT services. As you can see, there's quite a few of them. And as you can also see, there's quite a few of them that have critical component concerns. Those are italicized. And I know there was concern about the election management system, particularly. It is on that list. We are scheduled for upgrade for some of those that you may have heard at different meetings talking about DevNet or Kronos or the ERP program. Those are all in progress. We've started doing work on some of those, and they will correct some of these long-term issues, but there are still a lot out there. And that actually goes on for 2 pages. We do not have a long-term IT, what we would call deferred maintenance plan, similar to the facilities for deferred maintenance plan, so that we're trying to get started and get in progress, trying to work on that, because I think we need a plan like that we have for facilities. Champaign County government, back to the next one, is talking about revenues. This is the basic information about the revenue and how the county's revenue is divided. Important things for me to point out in this is that the top number on the chart, or the table, is the general corporate funds. That's primarily what the county board is responsible for allocating in its budget process for the operations of all of the county departments. The rest of those funds that are listed there are in many ways just considered pass-through funds to the county budget. So we receive, for example, mental health board taxes. They're for that specific purpose. They pass through the county to the mental health board for decisions about how to spend them. So that really is pass-through money for us. So in a budget of $123 million, you can see that what the county board is really got to work with is about $38 million. And you can see expenditures by fund type in the table as well. It's both ways. I tried to do it in the table and visual. People have learning different ways of liking information presented, so this just shows it in 2 different ways. The monthly year-to-date financial information, of course, Tammy gives you in the monthly reports. The next page is the interfund transfers for the nursing home expenses. The nursing home sale has been finalized, of course. This is the transfers that were made in the past 2 or 3 years regarding the nursing home that were promised to be paid back to the general fund or these other funds, which include insurance funds, workers' comp funds, IMRF benefit funds, the general fund, etc. So you'll see that's quite a large number. We still have, when we sold the nursing home, we had 33 residents that had not been approved yet for Medicaid. They were pending at that time. We had completed applications, but as you know, the state takes a long time to do the approvals. And since the time of the sale, we've had 14 of them approved, and we still have 19 to go. The next page, I'm going back to the statutory responsibilities of my office. The county administration executes the board's resolutions through day-to-day coordination of and support of the county elected officials. So the things that we've done to date are orientation of newly elected county officials, which happens every couple of years, administration, facilities, and IT support. Recent things that we've been involved with or completed have been the HR support for supervisors, Art Bartell Road sidewalk, which you can see if you go out the back door is still in progress, the new courthouse parking gate and public storage lockers, and the upgraded Kronos payroll software, which should be rolled out by July. Due to significant staff turnover, we've provided temporary staff and training for the clerk's office for the 2000 municipal elections and tax cycle activities. As many of you know, there was a pretty significant staff turnover in that office, and it just so happened that the county's IT director has been the only expert left in the county that knows how to do some of those things. So he's been working in that office for the last 5 months. Oversight of departments not under the other officials, and you can see what those are listed around the circle of the diagram. Many of those, they all have directors or their own boards, but their staff report to the county administration, and so they come through my office. And then we finalize the county nursing home sale. The Office of the County Executive also has other responsibilities. The Public Information Officer, we don't have an office to do public information, so that falls to my office. I am the Liquor Commissioner for the county. Under my office, under the Facilities Director, falls the Aggregated Utility Program. I'm a representative of the county at community events, which role is also performed sometimes by the county board chair, or I'm sure other county board members sometimes do that. And then I'm the FOIA officer for all of the administrative kind of things. Next, this other statutory responsibilities would be county appointments. I appoint persons to serve on terms of office. The ones listed there are ones that I have appointed to date. There are approximately 130 appointments throughout the year. We've made 47 of them so far. Only 3 of those had vacancies with multiple applicants. All the rest had one applicant only. And I just want to say a little bit right here. This is I know it came up at the last meeting, and it's come up a couple of other times about wanting to diversify some of these boards a little bit. And I would like to just share with the board something that I've noticed. So when the board is seated after the election, the board members are asked to sign up for committees and boards that they would be responsible for being the liaison to from the board. So there are a lot of committees and boards in the county. There are actually 19 boards that are available that the county executive appoints, and there are 4 boards available that are liaison non-voting appointments that the county board chair appoints. And of those, so that makes 23. There are 22 board members, and so everyone kind of, if it works out evenly, should maybe sign up for one of those. On this board, there are 7 persons of color, and 3 did not choose to be appointed for any board whatsoever. 3 asked to be appointed to boards that were already represented by minorities quite well, and so only 1 ended up on a board that had no minority representation. So I'm just mentioning that because that's something that's in the direct control of the board. You guys were, many of you were new, and so maybe didn't think about that when the appointments were taking place, but just to let you know, that's something that we could do in a couple years, try again, and maybe the board itself could participate in some of those new boards that they would like to have more minority representation on. Next is the Office of the County Executive with the board meetings. I preside over the board meetings, as you all know, I'm here. We've done 1 organizational meeting, 6 monthly meetings, 3 special meetings, and 4 study sessions so far. Also, it's my responsibility to work with provide the administrative support to put together the meetings. So the administrative assistants and those kind of things do some of the, put together all the agendas. And we also provide a lot of training. So I've completed trainings on Open Meetings Act, FOIA, ADA, and parliamentary procedure. And you'll see some of the statistics of the things that the administrative staff does also in my HR report for the month. To date, I know people have been concerned about this. So far, for the first 6 months of my term, I have concurred with all of the board resolutions and broken no tie votes. Those are things that the county executive is also responsible for. And I just wanted to make that note that so far that's where we stand on those. Also, intergovernmental agreements. With the board's approval, the executive signs intergovernmental agreements on behalf of the county. So we've entered into 2 intergovernmental agreements that benefit our county. One was for animal spaying and neutering with the animal control folks, and one was for hazardous waste recycling, which was a intergovernmental agreement that was a kind of an expansion of some things that we had done in past with some partners. I also represent the county on some other intergovernmental agreements that have not come up yet for renewal, or they're just are continuing because the county participates. The Willard Airport Advisory Committee, the Champaign-Ford Regional Office of Education, Geographic Information Systems Consortium, Local Emergency Planning Committee, METCAD, Metropolitan Intergovernmental Council, Regional Emergency Coordination Group, and the Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Area 17. I just mentioned those because some of you may or may not be aware that we're involved with all of those things. Next is economic development. The executive represents the county in promoting economic growth in a thriving community. These are the activities which my office has done. I personally have done many of these so far. This is something that was perhaps a weakness before when the county didn't have a representative that represented the whole county except for the board chair who did do some of these activities but maybe didn't have enough time to do a lot of them. So I went to do some legislative advocacy in Springfield. I participated in some intergovernmental meetings that are reviewing local TIF districts and enterprise zones. The county needs to participate in those if local jurisdictions establish them. And so there's periodic review meetings to see if they want to be continued or how they're working. I've joined the Economic Development Board, completed training on emergency preparedness and watersheds because those are things that affect our county and I need to be prepared if there is an emergency in our county. I discussed international trade with the European Union ambassador. That was sort of fun. I serve now on the Champaign Community Coalition and the New American Welcome Center advisory boards. And these are things that are in progress that are maybe we are just in the planning stages or we've started thinking about or that we started investigating but haven't necessarily gotten far enough to bring some of them to the board. Some of them are coming to the board very soon. So mentioning them. One is partnerships with student involvement in various aspects of county business. The first one that you will probably see is the Economic Consulting Student Group will be coming to our next strategic planning meeting, and they have done a couple of projects for analysis of things that are going on in the county. I have started, as of this month, quarterly executive outreach meetings with Township, Village, Commission, and district officials, mostly in the more rural parts of the county, obviously, but just offering the opportunity quarterly to get together with them and meet with them. Most of these are elected officials, but some of them I appoint, like the drainage district people or whatever. They're all officials, and it's an opportunity for just them. I'm calling quarterly meetings. If they would like to come and talk about issues, we can do that. I will have a presence at community events and parades. I've also already started doing that a couple of times with some community events, the Developmental Disabilities Expo, different things like that to just put in a county appearance. I'm interested in those things, so it's a joy to go. But I just wanted you to know that you're being represented in the county at some of those things. Proposal for upgrading property assessment software. That's something the county's been talking about for a while. Some of you have heard about CAMA. That will be coming before the board soon for your approval in terms of the software and whatever kind of arrangement we're having with the local townships. An offer to join Vermilion County and local municipalities in a land bank. That's something that ELEC will be considering at their next meeting. Additional online and on-site staff it's called upskilling now. It's not called staff training or staff development. The appropriate politically correct term now is upskilling. Monthly supervisor training offered at both Brookins and the courthouse, and a pilot employee assistance program for the remainder of 2019. All of those things have already started and are beginning to roll out. An interdepartmental grant proposal for neighborhood nuisance cleanup projects around the county. The Regional Planning Commission will be submitting this grant proposal, and we'll be partnering with various other county departments to do some of those projects. Exploration of an intergovernmental agreement with Urbana to share IT support services. We've just begun tentative conversations about that. Oh, I'm sorry, back up here. I don't know how to go back. I don't know how to go back. Next, previous. Whoops. Okay. I was doing so well. Shoot. Now I got it mixed up. This one? That one? That one? Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. All right, and then the last one is exploration of an intergovernmental agreement with Champaign. They've been talking about their Champaign Diversity Advancement Program in the community lately, and I would be interested in investigating that more to see about recruiting and mentoring with local minority women and veteran-owned businesses in the county. So those are just things in progress. And then, of course, the last thing that's in progress that will be coming out in June is the draft of a 6-year county governance strategic plan tied to both the financial forecast the facility and IT needs, the department goals, and the board priorities. And the board's been participating in that, so you're well aware of that one. So that's the end of my report, and I hope it was informative, and would be happy to entertain a couple questions if you want. I don't want to spend too much more time, but
Chris, you have a question?
On page 5, I was looking at the county facilities inventory, and I noticed you had something listed as nursing home storage.
yes,
Is that different from the nursing home? Do we retain that?
yes. We have to keep all the records from when we owned the nursing home, so that will be in storage for a long time.
Okay. One other thing. I was curious about one of the last pages, an offer to join Vermilion County and local municipalities in a land bank to return to the private market properties that end up in county ownership. Is that something that you'd want to speak to right now, or is that something coming along?
That'll be coming, it's going to ELUC at the next meeting, their next ELUC meeting. It'll be discussed in pretty good detail. It's a proposal that Vermilion County would like to join with Champaign County to expand the land bank. And Rantoul is very interested as a municipality, so they want to move into Champaign County. The county may or may not decide to join, but it's just an offer that's out there. The idea is that the county ends up owning probably 3 to 5 properties a year because of legal action that needs to be taken against absent landowners or properties that are not being cared for or taxes aren't being paid. So that goes into a lawsuit, and then after the lawsuit, the county actually owns the property. And we do have sometimes sales to sell that property. Some of them don't sell. So this is another way of trying to market them and get them sold.
Any further questions, Charles, for Darlene?
Thank you. In regards to all the slides that's dealing with the role of the executive, county executive, and the statutory responsibility, I'm just curious, did you pull this information from our county board rule book?
No, I took it out of the statute, the Illinois statute.
Illinois statute, okay, because I don't know, I'm seeing some contradiction with the county board rule book, the manual that we have, along with the statute. I'm comparing Will County, our old county board rules, and something's not matching up in regards of the responsibility of what I'm getting out of it from the county executive.
Okay.
In regards of mainly with the county executive policy book.
Okay.
So there's some
I'd be happy to
inconsistencies.
refer you to the Illinois statute, and you can read it directly from the statute.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Charles. And Chris, are there any further questions, comments for Darlene regarding the presentation? I do have, if nobody else has a question, I do have one, and since we're already on page 5, we could turn to page 4. And do we track individuals with disability, Darlene? And do we track veterans as we begin to report these numbers?
We do try, we ask, it's basically self-reporting. And so whether people answer the question or not is up to them. But when we do employment information, when we're going through the hiring process, we ask that question as part of the application, but not everyone fills it out. And we're not allowed to ask about disability or anything like that in the interviews.
Okay.
We obviously know that we have some employees that are disabled or veterans, but that's again not information we necessarily have. If they don't want to tell us, they don't have to.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Great. Well, we'll close the session.